is very clear. Obviously, you have taken a load of loyalty only to the president and not the people of this country. Let's move on now, and let's talk about AI. The Maven Smart System, which appears to be the program on record being used in Iran, does the targeting work. We know of about 2,000 people.
It's called the Maven system, not the Marvin system.
Excuse me. Thank you so much for that correction. It does it in a fraction of the time. The intention was to compress the kill chain, and the result was an attack that killed almost 200 children. Would you agree that tragic actions like this prove that when we trade time and humans for safety, people die?
The Maven system is a very effective tool, and inside that we have very prescriptive processes by which we ensure as much precision as humanly possible in very complex battlefield environments.
So you think we took every absolute effort to make sure that innocent civilians did not die in this attack?
I know that there is no country on planet Earth that takes more measures to ensure that civilian harm or civilian casualties are minimized than the United States of America and this War Department, and that is a fact.
Okay, and yet, Mr. Secretary, you eliminated the Department's civilian harm reduction staff. You eliminated, for a country that makes great efforts to make sure human casualties are reduced or eliminated. Don't you think that that goes actually counter to what you just said? Would these children not still be alive if you had not eliminated all of these staff working within CENTCOM?
We didn't eliminate them. We made sure that those things that they normally accomplish are at the field level, which they are, and all of these processes are in place at every level.
Would you not agree that something clearly has failed, whether it's our implementation of AI, whether it's understanding our human dependence on AI? Would you not agree something failed because almost 200 children died in Iran as a result of our bombing?
You're insinuating something where an investigation is not complete.
Gentlelady's time's expired. Chair now recognizes the gentleman from Georgia, Dr. McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Gentlemen, I'm happy to have you here today and really excited about the things you've been able to accomplish. I'm going to summarize just sitting here for a few minutes, listening to everybody politicize what we've done. I'm just going to break it down as best as I can, and then I'm going to let you answer a couple questions. First of all, just since the short period of time that the Trump administration has taken over, we've handed over control of Ukraine's destiny to Europe, where it belongs, a conglomerate that has a $20 trillion economy versus a $2 trillion Russian economy, to actually take care of their own country in a very good way, their own continent. We've kept Iran, who has literally talked about raining down fire from heaven and talked about us being the great Satan, from becoming a nuclear power. We've reshaped the geopolitical space in the Persian Gulf. We've reestablished the Monroe Doctrine in the Western Hemisphere. We've basically executed two of the most amazing raids in history, almost flawlessly, that will be studied for a generation at least. We reduced senior administrative billets, thank you. We've defeated Iran with under $30 billion spent, with minimal civilian casualties compared to any other war. People forget that in World War II, in one night we lost 100,000 civilians, totally innocent, in fire bombings. That's before we dropped the nuclear bombs. War is a horrible thing, but I think we've executed it as best as possible in a very hard and consequential environment. That's just to sum up a few things, not to mention the recruiting that went from dismal and really something that could have crippled our military to now a surplus just by a change in administration. That's pretty impressive for a short period of time. Thank you, and I commend you for your hardship, overcoming those hardships. A couple things that I wanted to get through. One thing is we talked about the Incentivized Savings Act, which is something I wanted to apply to all bureaucracies. But when I was in the military, as both an operational officer and a logistics officer for my squadrons and my jump places, we got to the end of the fiscal year. If we didn't spend it, what happens? We lose it, we get our budget shrink. Everybody knows that in the military. Everybody knows that in every bureaucracy in America. One of the things I came up with is, at the end of the fiscal year, if you don't spend it, you don't have anything. You know, we save 10% of our budget for emergencies like we're facing right now. If you don't spend it, instead of spending it, you actually can save half of it. 49% rolls over to the next year. 49% goes back to debt and deficit. 2% to reward the people for being good administrators of the money. I don't see any downside. This is the way that we reinvent government, the way we spend money. And I just thought, I wanted your opinion on something like that. I thought was thinking outside the box because I've seen waste, fraud, and abuse. We're trying to address that. This should be a bipartisan, bicameral approach to actually doing something right as we expand the budget, but also give us some wiggle room for putting money back and being good stewards of people's money. What do you think about an idea like that?
I very much like an idea like that, which creates all the right kinds of incentives. And I would just add, in addition to that, which is the type of thing our department would support, the deals that we're cutting with these private sector companies on munitions ensures they build the plants, they build the assembly lines, which is exactly the right kind of incentive. If you spend on facilities, you're going to make sure you make money on those facilities and the munitions that you produce. There's ownership in that stake. There's the right incentive. Overturning the entire way the department does business. So I agree with that. We're pointing at the defense contractors, as the president has, and saying, you need to do your business differently. This is not a gravy train of the government. You need to you're beholden to us, actually. So I think the spirit of that is infused into everything we're doing at the department.
And I think it's right in line with what you're talking about, running it more like a business where we have accountability and we're pointing in the right direction. We do have a lot of old programs that we need to update. One of the things you talked about is a 5 to 7 year period of time of updating. I think almost year by year now, it's going to be how we're going to have to look at how we budget things and contract because the technologies are so dramatic, as General Kane pointed out. I know I'm running out of time real quickly, but I want to also revisit the fact that you are still invited down to University of North Georgia, one of the elite 8 schools. We're looking forward to PTing with you.
I owe you that.
Appreciate you guys being here today. God bless you, and God bless our military service members. With that, I yield.
Sir, I got to say, this guy over my left shoulder is a University of North Georgia graduate. He doesn't want me to tell you that, but he is.
The president would be very happy. The president of the university, he's great. President Shannon would be very happy to hear that.
Gentleman's time has expired. Chair, I recognize the gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Also, thank you, Mr. Secretary, Chairman Kane, and Mr. Hurst. Shout out to Winterville. 13 U.S. service members killed, 13 families forever changed, 13 heroes who put the uniform on, paid the ultimate sacrifice. We owe remembrance, those families. Just want you to know we see you, we stand with you, we'll never forget. There are Gold Star families who are here today sitting in the room carrying the honor and remember flags. Remember the sacrifice. And when we do so, words can't fully capture it. April 3rd, F-15E Strike Eagle pilots were rescued because we live by a simple promise: we do not leave anyone behind. The same spirit must be extended to those who are killed in action. That's why I arise again today and raise this question of the importance of passing H.R. 1363, Honor and Remember Flag Recognition. Mr. Secretary, I raised this with you before, and actually I come today to thank you for the response from your office and actually engaging with us in this. I rise again today and bring this up because we must never lose sight of the true cost of war. As we commemorate 250 years in this country, the first call for independence, Halifax County delegates moved forward with the first official action in my district. Our service members are the reason we are here today. They've delivered freedom, and I believe it would be amazing if we could deliver for their families, those who've sacrificed this flag, something to help them, ideally by Memorial Day, or at least commemorate their families. I was simply asked, do you have any thoughts whatsoever how we continue to lift and honor those who have been killed serving our country?
Well, thank you for what you do on that topic. I think first and foremost, we do it by doing right by the legacy of those that we lose, whether it's those 13 from this conflict or any other conflict. I've been at Dover every single time, as is the chairman, as is the president, the vice president, when they can, to greet that and respect and honor that. In our department, we established the first ever Gold Star task force, where we've got a Gold Star advocate right in our front office working these issues on a daily basis, which is why it doesn't surprise me that we so quickly got back to you. These are deep in our DNA, things that we care about. How you treat a family who's given everything in that moment, not just at Dover, but in every step of that process is a reflection of how
Mr.
the country
Secretary,
values.
thank you truly just for time here. And I'd served mortuary, and I've been to Dover. I deployed to Dover, so thank you there.